So asante sana. Jina langu ni Dr Peter Mbae. Mimi nawania kiti ya Senate katika kaunti ya Nakuru. So for me, huu wakati very special this week and this time of January because it's 1 year later, yeah, kutoka siku ile niliweza kujiuzuru kutoka kwa serikali. Mahali nilikuwa kama kiongozi wa miradi ya serikali na utendakazi. So it's a very special moment. It's been a whole year, right? Wakati nilienda nikakutana na kiongozi wa chama cha DCP wakati ule haikuwa imebuniwa, and I told him ile mambo nimeona I am not able to proceed because I thought we came here to work. And I did my best, you know, first in the Ministry of Trade and Investments, yeah. That year there's a report that came and said ya kwamba Kenya ndio ilikuwa imeongoza mambo ya FDI, that is foreign direct investments. Ikaongoza Nigeria, ikaongoza South Africa, ikaongoza Egypt. We were the leading that time what the work we did to attract FDIs. When I was in that ministry as a senior technical advisor and head of ministerial delivery unit kwa Ministry of Trade, Investments and Industry, yeah. Secondary trade, we opened up a lot of markets abroad, wapi, Dubai, US tukaanza. Then we brought together all the ministers of trade in Africa just to come and sign the FTFTA, trade deal, to make sure that goods and services move across Africa. And of course the issue of industrialization, we launched CAIPs, County Aggregation Industrial Parks, 17 counties. We were going to do 47 until the time, of course, we were moved from the ministry, we went to public service. We did a lot of reforms at NYS, yeah. I remember that we went and said recruits should be taken at ward level, but of course walichukuliwa nusu, wale wengine wakapatiana majina wakiwa kwa nyumba. And of course huduma, we wrote letters to every MP telling them, look here, people are traveling long distances to go and get birth certificates. Huduma should be in every sub county. We did those letters to every MP kwambia, because mko na CDF, jengeni see to rate staff. All those are things we did, and finally, of course, we tabled before the executive all the issues that needed to be done in this country. 217 projects. Ndio iende bila kutaja Singapore. For the last 2 years, if those things were done, we'll be somewhere else. But of course, frustrations happened, harassment, and a lot of harassment, a lot of frustration and humiliation. So we felt it was no longer possible. And I said, because I've had a lot of experience across the country, you know, across the world, we can come back to Nakuru and make sense. Can come back home. Or what I know, let me use it for one county. It will make a lot of difference. That's what I told myself. And so I'm born at PGH. Those many years ago, brought up at Solai. My mom, retired primary school teacher. My dad, my dad taught at Leshau Secondary School in Nyandarua, Solai Boys, and finally at Joro Boys, where he retired. And so I came here to this town of Nakuru very young after I finished Form 4. It was not easy. I spent nights at Koloda, you know, Mwariki, Pangani. Went to Jogo Commercial College. Some of you remember where it was, where the family bank is right now. Went to Flamingo College of Accountancy before I went to Nairobi to study political science, the first degree, master's in communication, and a PhD in peace and conflict studies. So I've been here for 1 year on the ground, and there are few issues I have seen, and I thought, in the spirit of information and communication, in the spirit of engaging the people, it's important just to mention them so that we know where we are. And I'll be very fast. There are many issues. I want to thank our lawyers. I want to thank the people who went to court, petitioners. I want to thank all our volunteers of oversight, people who have been there and telling us there's an issue here, what can we do? And oversight is a continuous process. It doesn't start and stop when maybe you are elected or not. So I'll start. The first issue we have been handling in this county is the issue of Nakuru War Memorial Hospital, right? 3 years in court, and finally, the judgment is set for the 22nd of January at Olkalau High Court. It was not possible to do the case here because of harassment of judges who are doing those cases here. So we are going to be there, Nakuru War Memorial. What is the issue? Who owns the land? 25 acres. That's the whole issue. We decided to go to court. We have added our lawyers there. So be there. The other issue is NYS, the illegal procurement that most of you are aware of. We went to court with the contractors and the civil society organizations over the deal to hand over our money to NYS. And like I said, I used to oversight at NYS. They don't have machines. They are going to hire also. And And so this is not going to work. We will be in court on 19th of January this year at Nakuru High Court. Now, the other issue. Now, I'm dealing specifically on the issue relating to the county government, right? There's a 300 illegal accounts, 301 illegal accounts. We have found now all the documents from the control of budget. We are preparing a petition to freeze the accounts until explanation is done. Which are these accounts and what they are for? So we are moving to court any time from now. I think next week. I'll always ready with that. There's also the issue of the Secretary of the County Public Service Board. Now, her term ended in July last year, but she was given an extension, which is illegal. So again, we'll be going to court this next week to be able just to say we don't want to watch illegality 1 year down the line. Ourselves, we said we are going to have our people to tell us whatever is happening, let's stop it where it is. Of course, there is the issue of the county, the community health promoters. 3,600 are people who help us at the local level to treat people before they go to hospital. There's one issue. The deal was 2,500 will be paid by the county, 2,500 they are paid by the national government. Now, the county government has not been honoring its pledge. Today, they went to Christmas without payment of 3 to 4 months. So we are saying these are human beings. These are people who should actually be put in the payroll so they can be able to help them. These are people who are helping us on the ground. So we have an issue with that. We have written to the county government already, and we are exploring measures. How we enforce the fact that they will be paid on time. The community health promoters. I did a law when I was around here the last time about them, how they'll be protected and how they'll be paid on 5th of every month. So there's a law already in place. So those are the issues we want to deal with, which are very, very important. Now, the other issue very fast is the issue of Kiwanja Dege. Kiwanja Dege is 100 acres of land in Joro, owned by the county government. Some people got title deeds over the land. They got a court order to evict 80,000 people. Thank God we went to court, and the case is coming up before a new judge. There's a new judge at ELC. It's coming up on 11th of February at the High Court here for more directions. Thankfully, we got the stay order so that the matter is not going. The problem is people are losing money to hire a lawyer to go to court against their own government. The county government went to court and said they said they supported the eviction of the people. Those are the issues we have, and of course there's a Naivasha affordable housing. Now, when Nakuru people brought issues about building of houses at Afraha, the county government went to Naivasha. There's a pre-field there that was donated by someone for only a stadium, pre-stadium. So Naivasha people have gone to court to say, look here, this field was given for field, not for building houses. So that case is coming up. It's coming up in February, at some date in February. The Egerton University land grabbing. Now listen. There was a request by MITI when I sat in the ministry in the office of the cabinet secretary for trade. We made a request because we were doing KIPs in every county and EPZs. So we were looking for public land to do the industries. That's why in Nakuru there's no mention of any KIP or EPZ. When we made the request to the VC of Egerton, this is very interesting. Somebody went in with another request to hive land, 1,200 acres, to go to individual people who are connected in the county government, right? They went there, took the request. The VC called me. He said, are you aware of what's happening here? And it was very, very sad because out of the 1,500 acres that we requested, somebody wanted 1,200 individuals, not in the name of the county government, and leave the industries for only 200 acres. So somebody went to court, locals went to court, and it was stopped. The land is back to the university. I hear they are back to court, trying to fight for land, which is public land for the university. And that case is coming up. We are following up on that. So the other issue, generally regarding the issues of the county government, is the issue of the grabbing of public land, laid waste land. People were denied, their licenses were cancelled. Then other people have been given their licenses and they are putting up permanent houses, permanent structures on public land, laid waste land. So many people were destroyed their livelihoods here at the opposite gate house all the way to Mache. People literally went to hospital. Some people almost died. Let me in Naivasha, because it was laid waste land. But right now, people are putting up very permanent, petrol stations here at 58. Other places, Naivasha, opposite opposite at the town center. Those are the issues. What is the way forward on that? We are saying, please document the issues, because soon and very soon we are going to be liberated in this country. Now, there are some other issues which relate to the national government that we have been working on. One is the issue of Mai Mahiu victims. 120 families, they were washed by the France out of some negligence by Kenya Railways. They were promised land to be built on houses, and to be restored what they lost. That is now 2 years later. So what we decided, instead of relying on the goodwill of a person, through our lawyers, we have gone to court. As the lawyers of the victims, we have gone to court to ask for compensation. We don't want to rely on the goodwill of the government. Oh, we are going to help you. 2 years later, nothing. So we go to court. If they bring it, it's okay. If they don't, let the court order. Let the court come and help us. Instead of relying on the goodwill of the government or people, individuals, to come and say, we are going to help you. Now, Kihoto land, as you are aware, water came, displaced thousands of people. So we went there and declared it a national disaster because the government was not able to. So when they said we have no capacity to declare a national disaster, we went to court. Luckily, this year, I think 22nd of January, we'll be there in the court of Naivasha to get a judgment about the way forward. We have done all the submissions. The court is going to tell us the way forward. All what we want is that is be declared a national disaster, so that now government can be asked to buy off that land. The land belongs to the RIC, and the people are moved to another place. Those are the issues we are fighting. Banita settlement scheme. As you are aware, I've mentioned this before, 14,000 acres, bought by President Moi, the late President Moi, 2,000. And there were people who were supposed to be allocated. Then, and other people went to court. So about 2,000 people. But now, from the year 2022, around there, other people were added to the list. So locals, we came, talked together as a team, we went to court, and the court stopped that exercise until it is verified. So we'll be back to court on 18th of February at High Court here in Nakuru, so that the court can adjudicate harmonization of that list. Kisima land ownership, there are some IDPs at pipeline line now, 433 families, right? There's a land that has been bought by government. They're supposed to be settled. I know it's going okay. But there's an issue here. 30% of that land is supposed to be given to the local community. Now, there's contention about who are the local community. Some people, they are locals. They feel that there are people who are being brought who are not local community. So the locals went to court. They went to ask the judge, there is a dispute, to harmonize that. We are helping them. It's coming back on 20th of January at High Court in Nakuru, that Kisima land issue, so that we harmonize the list between the two people. There is a land here at Sharon. Sharon is in Longai. The land was bought by government for IDPs. Now, when land is bought by government, you cannot sell it off until after 10 years. So they put a caveat in the land. You have a title deed, but you can't sell it. So 10 years ended like about 7 years ago. They cannot, even now, they cannot transfer the land, which is their land now. And they are feeling there's something suspicious. So what we have done is a first step. We have asked the leaders of that community, come see our lawyers. The lawyers will write to the Ministry of Lands, ask them what is the problem. And if we get good response, fine. If they don't, we don't want to trust anybody. Like now, we don't want to trust the executive. And we don't want to trust the executive at this time. So we'll move to court to ask the court to order the caveat to be removed. That is how serious we are with handling the issues of this area. And there's a Gadhima. Gadhima in Maimahio, there's an area where there's a dispute between the crushers of the stones. They use those, they use those machines and all that at night, and their community. So the issue is that when they crash, it affects the families. So what have we done? Because we believe in dispute resolution. We believe in trying to talk about these things. All the cases we are going to court, we begin by telling our lawyers, write to these parties, let us agree. So that one we are pursuing a dispute resolution with NEMA, with the local administration to agree. We need the crushers because they are investors, but we need the community to be at peace. So those are the issues we are pursuing, and around that area. Now, quickly, we have other public interest issues we are pursuing. I've mentioned the issues related to county government, the issue related to national government. Now, other issues, Brian Odhiambo murder case. It is coming up for mention again on 16th of February at Nakuru High Court. You are aware, Brian Odhiambo disappeared at Lake Nakuru. He was allegedly picked literally by KWS people, and there is a case there. Richard Lemondo murder. He was murdered in January last year in Elbagon by people who have been in the dock for many months. The case is coming up again on 27th of January at Nakuru High Court. We have a commemoration of his first anniversary, 19th of this month in Moro at Elbagon. So that's something we are planning. Another case we are pursuing is Solai Dam composition case. 400 families went to court after the collapse. We had approached Patel to come out of court and agree, but he decided we go the whole hog. The last two witnesses will be heard on 11th of February at the Nakuru High Court. We hope that is the end. It has been 4 or 5 years, and we hope we are going to go well. Now, there are 163 families at Ororongai Menengai, at the border of Longai and Sobukia, who are facing displacement. Because NEMA has given GDC license to explore geothermal in the lands of people without public participation. So we have had like 3 meetings with NEMA, with the NEMA review authority, and all those kind of people, so that we are telling them, please go elsewhere. Those people don't want to be displaced. They don't want to go. Go look for it elsewhere. So the way forward about that, our lawyers and Katiba Institute, they are working on a way of engaging government. And if it gets to a place where they want to evict the people by force, we'll go to court to get court orders to stop it. That's what we have agreed with them. There's an issue of Menengai Soaps Company at Devo here in Bahati. Now, thousands of people, over 10,000, for the last, since 2013, they filed a case because there's some dispute of land where there are people who they feel they took the land illegally, so others, they are claiming the land. Now, it has never been heard since 2011. So when they came to us, we said, what's happening? Our lawyers advised. Our lawyers allowed to see CJ, say, look here, how can we proceed like this? So we wrote a letter. Luckily, there's a lawyer who has come in. It has been given a date. We'll be back there on 30th of March, 31st of March, and 1st of April. We have secured those 3 dates where the case will be heard for the first time since 2011. Those are the kind of things we have been able to do. Now, we have cases for Naivasha. 200 young men were arrested in Maimahio, Naivasha, and Gilgil over Gen Z's 25th of June, yeah, the anniversary, and Sabasaba. They are in 14 cases. We worked with our lawyers in Naivasha, and I want to thank a lawyer called P.K. Nganga. Fought for the bails to come down. We went with him to prison in Naivasha. We were able to get like 70 of them who are there because of the reduced bail. We helped so many others, through friends to get them out, about 50 or 60. And right now, all of them are out on bail. The 200 cases are there, like 14 of them. Very tedious indeed, because these are criminal cases. They are going on in Naivasha. They started around October, November, December, all the way. They are hearing dates, and we hope that very soon all those cases are going to collapse. Those are the issues we are pursuing very vigorously, and of course there are some issues about Molo. Now in Molo, I've mentioned about the Richard murder case. The Richard murder case. There are 6 people who were arrested in Elbagon when they were doing maandamano after the murder of Raymond Richard. They were arrested that time. January last year, we did bail for them. They are out of. They are now casing. They are now doing the case out of court. The case is going on at Molo Law Courts. 6 of them. There are other 17 who were arrested during 25th of June Maandamano protest and Sabasaba. They are the Gen Zs. The cases were given very high bails. The bails were reduced. Again, I want to really appreciate our lawyer there, Omaida, who has been doing all this in conjunction with us and our lawyers from Nairobi. So there were others, our lawyers also from Nakuru. So they were reduced, and they are out on bail. Their cases are going on. Again, hopefully, one of the cases will be dealt with, I think, on Monday, Tuesday this week. So we hope they are going to come down again because, we are on top of that issue. Then there are some 26 young men who are arrested at Tayari in Molo over issues. They were doing some maandamano because one of them had been killed, a boda rider and all that. So again, they stayed in remand for some time because their bills were about 300,000. Yeah, they were reduced to 10,000. They came out. They are now out of court, and the cases are going on. So that again, we want to move on. Now, I want to mention about Dennis, who was shot dead. A student in Moro, who was shot dead by police. He was walking home. We buried him at Turi. That young man called Dennis. Another one we buried at Mayera, who was killed in Naivasha by police. Another one we buried in Subukia, who was killed by police in Naivasha. Those are our young people who were killed in Nakuru County during the 25th and Sabasaba. We have waited enough, and what we have agreed with our lawyers, we'll go to court, sue government for compensation because of loss of life. That's all what we have agreed, because nobody deserves to die, either for what or whatever. Eric Koros is a young man who died in police cell in Solai. He was said by police to have hanged himself. We got all the documentation now, and we moved to court again seeking for compensation over his life because he died in police cell. So we are going to convince the court that there's no way somebody would have hanged himself using some rope or something for some cutting. The same case, there's Anthony Jogo, the young man who was shot by an arrow. People came, from some area. They literally got him inside his house, and he was attacked. When we were doing the post-mortem, the arrow was still lodged. The arrow was still lodged on his body. So again, we are going to court to look for compensation. And I want to say this. These are the issues we have been handling, among many others. We have so many requests, and I've been asking people of Nakuru. Either there's some issues to do with the county government, national government, or other public interest issues. Feel free to tell us. I really want to thank our lawyers, the teams who have been helping us in a very big way. Most of the cases have been done pro bono, right? Most of them, they just work all over the time to help us. I want to thank and say, we are doing this because we have to work with the people. One of my principles is information and communication, to try to tell you what we are doing so that you will have an idea. These are about 15 cases, public interest. So, and I've told Nakuru, between now and next year when we go to the elections, what will help us today, among the three arms of government, we cannot trust executive, both county and the national. We cannot trust the legislature. We have many challenges. Let us trust the judiciary, where we think we have been wronged, to go to court in a nice way. By the way, nothing personal. This is just work. We'll come to politics when the right comes. Because in the meantime, we're talking about the money. We're talking about those in power. We are talking about issues that are happening with our taxes. That's why we are saying, let us focus on these issues from a policy level, from a point of delivery, from a point of making sure our taxes are used now well before we go to elections and before we go to politics. Thank you.